So far what we've done is that we've talked about why we are excited about AR and AR Studio as a platform. We've also talked about, like Emmanuel briefly talked about, what are the capabilities and tools that AR Studio can bring on the table and how you can use them. Then Parul, I think, briefly talked about how we can build immersive, high-quality AR effects. So we know all the context. I think now let's move to an even more exciting part, where so far we've talked about what the world was building on AR. Now we're reaching to a part where we're going to talk about what India has been up to last few months on AR. So I think I'm going to call upon the first presenter for this session, Adhvith, the CEO and founder of AliveNow, to take us through some of the amazing work that he and his team has been doing on AR Studio. Thanks, Adhvith.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much to Facebook for giving us an opportunity to speak at this event. The last 6 to 8 months has been really exciting. In the office, even though we're a 9-year-old company, the last 6 to 8 months feels like a startup. Everyone is reckless. AR Studio came out about a year ago. We've been building on it for the last 6 to 8 months, and we've been building specifically for India. And the two other regions that we're building for is the Middle East and Southeast Asia. So I'll show you a few effects here. Over the last 6 months, we've built about 40 to 50 effects. Obviously, because of time, I'm going to show you 4 very interesting and exciting AR effects. My colleague Sid is right here as well, so we can show you these effects on the phone after the event if you want. The first AR filter that we built was for Future Group, for Big Bazaar, during the Soccer World Cup. Obviously, that's a time when a lot of brands want to tap into the, to the soccer frenzy. So we thought, how about building a game in augmented reality on the Facebook camera, where a user has to basically bounce the soccer ball on their head. So how much more engaging can you get than that? So this is a small video where once you launch the filter, you bounce the ball on your head, it keeps a track of the score, and once the user completes the game, he has to get a score of 4 or more, he unlocks a coupon that can be used in store. You'll see, so that's the coupon code. So users have to just take a screenshot and go to the Big Bazaar store, and they had offers for their mighty footballs. They had, that's what they call their soccer, their football, right? So we distributed over 13,000 coupons, and the capabilities that we used for this filter was face tracking, networking, and touch gestures. This one is something very exciting that we're doing with Hershey's in the Middle East. So we built a newsfeed smart app for Hershey's. A newsfeed smart app is basically an interactive web and a mobile experience where Hershey's had created about 5 very, very nice 30-second recipe videos of how can you use chocolate syrup and create ice creams or popsicles or whatever it is. So we basically took this one step ahead and we said, scan the Hershey's syrup bottle, right? So that's the world famous Hershey's syrup bottle. Scan the Hershey's syrup bottle, and the 5 recipes that what you can do with the Hershey syrup is shown right there. So this short video, this is a perspective of the phone. So user scans the syrup, they say spin the bottle, so you spin, and then say it stops on a recipe, and it plays a video of that recipe, and it also opens a kind of a window of 5 other recipes, so I can tap any other recipe, the video plays there again, right? So a really, really cool way to actually kind of share content, video content that you have through augmented reality, right? So now the plan is, these are 5 interesting recipes that you can do with Hershey's chocolate syrup. So we're going to do Hershey's strawberry syrup and Hershey's caramel syrup and any other Hershey's products where you can do interesting things, right? So over here, the capabilities that we use for AR target tracking was AR target tracking, external videos, and touch gestures. Now, the reason I say custom URL and camera effect URL is a little bit important here because, so this camera effect was discoverable on Facebook, on the newsfeed by Hershey's fans. But we also, what we're planning to do is have a custom URL. So let's say Hershey's, Hershey'sARrecipes.com, and users can actually type in that URL and as long as the user has Facebook installed on their phone, it will automatically launch the Facebook camera filter in their phone itself. So there's no need to click anything, and this is also discoverable from the mobile ad ecosystem. So let's say you want to do ads inside an app. Sometimes when you're on NDTV, you're scrolling through, you have an app, you tap it, it can open the AR filter. You're on a normal mobile web, you're scrolling, you see an ad, tap it, opens. As long as the user has Facebook installed on their phones, it directly opens the camera filter. Okay, this is one of my favorite filters. We basically are building this for a large retail brand that's launching their store in Trivandrum. We actually built this for Onam, but because of the unfortunate things that happened in Kerala, all the marketing campaigns were stopped. So later this month, this large retail store is going to be opening their first store in Kerala, and we're basically integrating an AR filter where a user is basically transformed themselves into a Kathakali dancer. So I'll just play a short video. So this is one of my personal favorites. I absolutely love this filter. When you have a chance, do come and meet me. I can show it you on the phone, and you will see it's absolutely mesmerizing. It took us about 3 weeks to build the Kathakali 3D crown, and the effect has come out really well. And this is a classic example of building for India. And another very interesting filter that we're building for India, for Diwali, is the famous 10-head Ravana. So we're building a filter where either from the front or the back camera, your head becomes 10 heads, and then you can shoot an arrow and it blows up, right? So there's a lot of fun things that we can do with AR as well. Finally, this was an AR filter that we built for a Korean makeup brand called Laneige that was launched in Malaysia. Pretty straightforward. Over here basically gives the user the ability to explore and try out their new collection. 3 types of lipsticks, 3 types of eyeliners, and 3 types of blushes. Very, very successful, and the same brand followed it up with another AR filter where these products were falling in the screen, and then you have to move your head to collect the product, so we built an AR game as well. Now, this particular use case is very interesting because we're also working with a very large retail brand where we're trying to solve a problem where you have all these cosmetic stations in stores where you have tons of different lipsticks, and so nobody wants to try out 15, 20, 30 lipsticks. So we're trying to do something where we have an AR filter in the store, and a user can actually pick a brand and pick a color and instantly look and see how that lipstick looks, and maybe from the 20 narrow it down to 3 or 4 and then actually try those. So this probably will roll out in another 2 months, but when it does, we kind of tell all of you. So these are the 4 filters that we wanted to talk about, and as I said, there's a lot of very interesting things we're doing. One of the things that we couldn't cover here is the really fun stuff that we're doing with hand gestures. So we've built an AR filter where it's literally like the Matrix. We have bullets coming in and you show your hand and the bullets stop. We have another AR filter where you can actually control the 3D object on the screen, which is a helmet, by moving your hand in and out, which zooms it in and out, and tilting it up and down and left and right. So I personally think this is great, and it's opened up some tremendous possibilities. One of the big things that we tell brands is, if you think about both the web and the mobile ecosystem in advertising, it's all been about swiping, touching, and scrolling. And for the first time, we're getting users to use their face, their eyes, their head, their hand, and it can't get more engaging than that. So when you have a user, even if it's for 15 or 20 or 30 seconds, kind of interacting with an AR filter in the full screen using their hand and face and all of that, you can't ask for a more engaging user than that. We're very excited about AR Studio, and we're waiting for a lot of new things to come, and I hope to kind of meet all of you and share more. And thanks again to the Facebook team for giving us an opportunity to showcase some of our work. Thank you so much.
Thanks.